Okay, so we continue on with our Super Spline editor tutorial. I am just building a close spline for our path here. Okay, and wow, what a mess. That it's not as bad as it looks. I just have to turn our grid size down. You can see there. Yes, we've got a bit of twisting. We'll have a look at how we fix that later. But first, I just want to run through some of the node spacing and node selection tools. So you may want to tweak your super spline or the spline control. So we can do that manually, and we can move these nodes around. We can grab a group of them if we wanted. We could do this manually and move that whole thing up, or we can use the editor panel. So what we can do here is node selection. Let's just select one, and we can move our selection here. Obviously we can do that with our arrows as well, that's fine. But what we can't do with our arrows is we can't expand our selection. So at the moment I've got selection direction is both ways. Okay, so if I hit increase, that's going to expand our selection like so. So if we wanted to move all those up, we can do that very easily. Okay, so we can also reduce our selection, and then we can select in a forward direction. So that will select up the spline. That will reduce to there, and we can do it in a reverse direction like so. But the great thing about this move tool is we can actually move that whole group. If I use the up and down arrows now, that obviously goes back to one selection. So if I want to expand my selection and then move that, because I want to lift these instead, it's just a really easy way of kind of quickly editing. I could just select those and bend the track a little bit and then move around here, excuse me, move around here and set it the other way, whatever. It's just a really easy way, especially if you've got a very complicated spline, which using super spline you probably will end up with quite complicated systems because it's so easy to set up. Frequently I'll have a roller coaster set up and there's 200 nodes in the path, and when you've got that sort of situation, it's kind of, these tools become invaluable because you can easily select what you need. Okay, so let's have a look at these node spacing tools. So let's say we've got this loop here. All right, so maybe I need this loop to be bigger. I don't know. It's imagine trying to make that bigger manually. We'd have to take each node and we'd have to do something like this. This would be horrible, and then it's just not going to look right. We need a bit more control in that. So what we've got is these relax and expand tools. So what I'm going to do here is just select this loop. Okay, and what I want to do is actually make it bigger in Y first of all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select the lowest value node. So which is that is going to be 4, and then we've got 13. So yes, it is this one. So I'm going to select these here, and I'm going to select the lowest value node, and this is going to be the pivot point for any edits that we make. So if I expand it in Y, it's going to pivot from this point like that. Okay, so we can relax that as well. So maybe now we want to expand it in X. I'll just do it there, X and Y, like that, and we've got a, you know, really nice way of actually changing the spline without kind of too much trouble. So this is the amount, this is kind of just an average. So if we set this to be 100, you know, that's going to obviously be a little bit extreme, but you get the idea. So I've obviously got 100 on relax, and that has given us a bit of an extreme result. So I'm just going to put that back to 30, relax, and you can see that's there. We may have a little kink in the track here, but we can actually solve that. And if we just have one selected, we can, let's just relax that in all axis. You can see there that will just, you know, move that into the middle. We may need a little bit of a tweak here just for the curve, but you know, same for this one. There's a bit of a kink there, so let's relax that as well. You know, and that will just help us get an equidistance between that node and the one behind it. So we can do this for, you know, let's expand the corner. Let's have that based on the lowest node, and we will expand in X and Z. You can see there that works from there. If I go from the highest node, it will be this pivot point, and you can see that expands from there. And then if it's the center, it will be the center point of this selection, so it will be around here. You can see there that will, obviously we made a bit of a mess there, but we can, you know, we can fix that up if we so wish. Okay, so let's move on to the edit nodes. What we've got here is just a way of managing our nodes and, you know, fixing things up. So first off, you know, if you do make a mess and you want to get back to your original, then you can just literally hit delete all, and this will delete the spline setup based on what you have selected in this top panel. So we've only got one spline, so it will do that. Okay, so we just run super spline again, and we have this. Okay, so the next thing is there's quite a few nodes here. So what we can do is we come on our quick select here, select all, and we can reduce with that. This will reduce, remove every other node. We've got a, you know, much more simplified spline control that's easier to edit. But maybe we've, you know, deleted one too many. Maybe we need an extra node. So if we select one, we can click add, and that will make a node equidistant between this one and the next one. And what it does is it will automatically rename. We've got 12, 13, 14. If I now delete that node, we've got 12, 13, 14. Again, I add one, we've got 12, 13, 14. So everything stays nicely named and easy to manage. That's pretty much the edit nodes. And then we've got the quick select. You know, we may want to edit all the nodes at the same time by using the reduce. Well, we can deselect all the nodes, and that will just select the first node. Select move, that will select our move object, which, you know, we can animate around the track. It's already set there, so if we wanted to, you know, parent something to that, that's just already set up. And we can select the spline itself. So by doing that, we can easily, you know, add a instance generator to the spline and add whatever objects we want to that. So, okay, So join me in the next video and we'll have a look at the node rotation and the tools that we've got here.